drifts back into the ocean and affects April's lobster fishing season. There is also concerns about getting too close to the mammal. DFO says someone could get injured or pick up a disease. As for who gets rid of the carcass, it appears the town of Humber Arms South is responsible because the whale washed up within the town's boundaries. It's not clear how long the whale will stay washed up on this beach near Frenchman's Cove, but I do know that the longer it stays here and the warmer it gets, the more difficult it will be to remove. Colleen Connors, CBC News, near Frenchman's Cove.
As you can see, Ryan joining us. A pretty nice day today after the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
There's snow on the ground there on the west coast where Colleen was.
Yeah, for sure. And even a little bit of snow here this morning, but it didn't really last long. What a temperature roller coaster ride we've been on today. Have a look at this. We'll show you in terms of where we were at 6 a.m. this morning. -1 in St. John's. +2 in Corner Brook, 9 in Wreck House, -15 to 19 in Labrador. But watch as the warm air pushed in today. We topped out around 8 degrees in Corner Brook. St. John's actually shot up to around 12 degrees this afternoon. Back started to fall down as we rolled through the mid-afternoon. You can see by 3 o'clock it was 2 degrees in Corner Brook. Some of those onshore flurries are starting to mix in along the west coast now, and that rain has started to push away from the Avalon, but certainly we are going to continue to see the temperatures falling now all the way back to below the freezing mark through the overnight tonight. So do keep that in mind. If you have any pooling water, you look out on your walkway, you've got a couple of pools of water there, you might want to just throw a bit of salt down, because tomorrow morning temperatures are going to be starting at or just below the freezing mark in St. John's, and in fact all the way across to the west, where we're starting around -6 or -7 in Corner Brook. A cool start in Labrador as well, and it's going to stay pretty chilly throughout the day right across the board tomorrow. Onshore flurries continue in the mix, and it's going to be a windy one as well. So we'll break down your full forecast details coming up in just a few minutes. Peter?
Navigating the north coast of Labrador is challenging at best. The weather, it can change in an hour, or it can hold stormy for days.
The Labrador coast, you always got to expect the non-expected.
Join CBC NL as we hitch a ride with Air Borealis, the last link in the supply chain to Labrador's most remote communities. Watch the 3-part series on Here and Now, starting next week.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm excited.
The Auditor General says the Provincial Wildlife Division needs to change how it keeps track of and stores guns and ammunition. Julia Mullally released her report today. It found that guns and ammo has gone missing. Is this an issue of there being theft or people taking this, or is this just a problem of sloppy controls and not proper record keeping?
So there's no really definitive answer to that. I think it can be a combination of all of those. I think the issue here is that there were weaknesses with the records. So these inventory systems weren't being updated on a timely basis. So because of that, they were incomplete. It was inaccurate information that was in the system. Some of that was inaccurate as well. You had asset numbers that are assigned to each of the firearms, and you had 30 of those types of numbers where we couldn't find them in the system. And today they still remain unaccounted for, so there's 30 of those that remain unaccounted for as well.
So how concerning is it when you've got 30 guns that have sort of disappeared?
Well, I think it's a concern at any time. I think the department would be as well. But there are some, I guess, mitigating policies that they feel. There is definitely, as I said, there's no definitive answers to this, but there were practices in the past in the department that these numbers got assigned to things other than the firearms, like it might have been to pellet guns or something like that. So they feel that part of the explanation is that they never ever actually did get assigned to a firearm. It was something else. But having said that, when they looked at the documentation, they really could never account for those 30.
The man at the center of a 7-hour-long standoff with the RNC last month appeared in provincial court this afternoon. Justin Wiseman is facing 9 charges, including arson, after the Mount Pearl house he was holed up in on March 13th went up in flames. Police are also accusing him of robbing a Marie's Mini Mart that same day and breaking into the NLC on Kelsey Drive. Wiseman was on parole at the time. He'll remain in custody until his next court date later this month.
A former cab driver found guilty of breaking into a St. John's home after dropping off a woman is appealing his conviction. In a handwritten letter, Leon Jacopage said the presiding judge did not like him and overlooked key evidence. Jacopage is serving a 4-year sentence for breaking into the Kilbride home in the May of 2016. The 34-year-old was convicted in January of sexually assaulting 2 women prior to that break-in. Both women were passengers in his cab.
Cold weather in Labrador West is taking its toll on striking miners at IOC. They plan to hold a rally this evening, but as Here and Now's Jacob Barker tells us as he's joining us now, it's taken a toll. So, Jacob, how is the weather exactly affecting workers on the line?
Yeah, it's really cold. It's been really cold here today. Actually, it's been minus 30 with the wind chill, and workers have been at the gate here for over a week now, and negotiations have really gone nowhere. But that isn't stopping anyone. The weather here isn't stopping anyone here on the line from holding the line down. Workers out in the cold here are getting support from steelworkers in a warmer place, Liberia. But this cold isn't stopping them.
This has probably been their worst day out, but as you can see, everyone still showed up, solidarity all around.
Their goal, to get their message out. Do you think this is getting the message through?
I hope so. I'd hate to say we're wasting our time out here freezing to death, but this is what we got to do to get what we got to get.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, that's right. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Fighting for their cause means giving up a regular paycheck. Strike pay is $350 a week, with their regular payday a week away. The financial challenges could kick in soon. Steve Baker has been on strike before.
Money is tight, but that's it. You'll survive.
Yeah? Do you worry about it at all? Do you have payments to make, that kind of thing?
Oh, everyone's got payments, everyone's got bills, but you'll make it through.
The hardness is going to hit, but everybody will deal.
Yeah.
I've seen a community come together before and different strikes before, so we'll do it again.
But the strike isn't just about holding the line. Here at the Union Hall, workers who are usually driving heavy machinery are pushing paper instead. Wayne Gordon is helping make sure that strike pay gets out.
Absolutely. Everybody needs money to survive, so that's why we're here, to make sure that we can do this and get a fair contract for our brothers and sisters.
And ready to give advice for those who need it. Art Huckster says this is the first strike for about 2/3 of the workforce.
So we have a lot of new people we have to walk through, and we have a lot of people that have a good low debt, house, car, truck, whatever they got. How they make it, it's going to be hard on a lot of people. Strikers don't benefit anybody.
Yeah.
And as you can see, we couldn't continue with Jacob. That was our Jacob Barker reporting live tonight from Labrador West. Well, this province's population is aging and in decline, but it's not all doom and gloom. Hockey NL says minor hockey is bucking the trend. Enrollment is up. And as Here Now's Mark Quinn reports, girls have a lot to do with it.
10-year-old Sky Evans loves to watch her brother play hockey, but she's also a player herself with the Northeast Eagles here at the Jack Byrne Arena in Torbay.
I think it's really fun, and I love hanging out with my friends and playing hockey with them.
Evans has no time for anyone who says hockey is only for boys.
I don't believe them.
Girls like Evans have helped minor hockey enrollment in this province grow over the last 10 years, from about 8,000 to more than 10,000 players.
When I go back probably 5-6 years ago, we're probably only 1,000 girls. You know, we're up to over 2,000 now. And I would say next winter, the 2018-19 season, we'll see another jump in female hockey.
Hockey NL's president says girls have actually saved the game in some parts of the province.
Rural areas in Newfoundland and Labrador, without the females participating in the game, we probably wouldn't have grown as much as we were, and we probably would have lost some minor hockey associations in smaller areas of the province.
And Lee says minor hockey is working hard to attract more girls.
Getting the word out about female hockey. And you know what? There's more females being born than male. So if we don't get these females to participate in the game of hockey, then we're not going to grow.
Mark
Quinn, CBC News, Torbay.
Well, who says you need a partner in order to dance? Cassandra Walsh-Flood certainly doesn't think so.
And if you've been near the boardwalk in Carbonear lately, you might have seen her. She goes there just about every day to do what she calls cheer dancing, a combination of dancing and brisk walking.
Yeah, she blasts music from her car, gets out on the boardwalk, and starts dancing. Have a look at this.
She can move.
You're probably asking yourself why. Well, she's trying to start a movement to get people outside and becoming more active.
Boy, that looks infectious. She is a retired nurse who volunteers with the U-Turn Center in Carbonear, and she says she sees a lot of people there who are coping with addictions and mental health issues, and this is her tiny way of helping them by promoting a healthy, active lifestyle.
As long as she doesn't cause any car accidents as people go driving by and have to wonder what's going on there.
I think that's great.
Absolutely.
Most people killed by police have mental health issues. Now police are changing how they respond.
It's a plainclothes police officer that goes into an unmarked vehicle with a healthcare provider.
Stories of people dying from police encounters have been reported a lot in the United States lately, but fatal interactions with police here in Canada seem rare by comparison. Until now, there hasn't been a clear picture. CBC News has compiled the first database of its kind of incidents where people died during an encounter with police. There are several cases in this province, but first we want senior investigative correspondent Diana Swain to bring us the bigger picture.
A male, white, likely in his mid-30s, probably armed with a knife, less likely a gun. He may have been drinking, doing drugs, may have a history of mental health issues. That's the typical profile of the Canadian who's most often died in a confrontation with police, according to hundreds of cases compiled by CBC News. Policing is largely a provincial responsibility, meaning no nationwide picture has ever been pulled together until now.
Data's everything. Right now,
Roger Chaffin says this data fills in the bigger picture and shows police where they need help.
I think that's the evolution of policing you'll see in this country, though, is how to use data to be more informed, more accurate.
Spanning 2000 to the end of last year, it shows 460 people died in fatal confrontations with police, either from a police bullet, a beating, or cardiac arrest from a taser or being restrained. A full 70% of those who died had either drugs or alcohol in their system or known mental health issues, meaning they were already compromised in some way during that fatal encounter. Dorothy Cotton is a forensic psychologist in Ontario who believes the data shows police are frequently called when a mental health specialist is what's really needed.
I think we can beef up the mental health system so that many of these calls don't go to the police in the first place.
That leaves open the question of how to do that, because the data shows the number of fatal interactions is going up. This week, the Ontario government announced it will move forward on some inquest recommendations to improve police training in de-escalation techniques. Diana Swain, CBC News, Toronto.
In this province, there have been 3 police killings since 2000. 2 of those involve people suffering with mental illness. Here now's Ariana Kelland reports.
It's late August 2000. RCMP get a call about a man in Little Catalina threatening children. What they didn't know was that 43-year-old Norman Reed was schizophrenic. He didn't like the side effects of his medication, so he often wouldn't take it. Reed lifted an axe above his head and headed for police. He'd never reach them. 5 shots, dead. 7 weeks later, a devastatingly familiar scenario. 23-year-old Daryl Power needed help, not from police, but from health professionals. He was depressed and anxious. When police arrived at his mother's Corner Brook apartment, he ran at police with a knife. 3 shots, dead. Easter Sunday 2015, an officer visits the home of Don Dunphy in Mitchell's Brook. A conversation over tweets gets heated. The officer says Don Dunphy points a loaded rifle. 4 shots, dead. Not contained within CBC's statistics is the 1996 shooting death of Nicholas Bento. He was intoxicated when he fired a shot into the air in front of his father's home on the tip of the Burin Peninsula. RCMP officers fired 3 shots, killing him. 2 men in distress. Officers show up and it turns deadly. An inquiry by Judge Donald Luther found major issues with the Reed and Power shootings. Today, the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary has implemented all of the recommendations in Luther's report, and the Department of Justice has opened a mental health court. Having an officer arrive at a mental health crisis never sat right with Joe Boland.
This is a healthcare call. This is not, a person in crisis are looking for help. They're not a criminal, right? So I think right from, the minute that a police car shows up in your neighborhood, I think it starts to go down the road of justice. And that's where we wanted to change. We wanted to have changes. And I think that's what
the 35-year veteran and chief of the force has been working for 4 years to establish a mental health crisis unit. It started this week. An officer and nurse or social worker will now respond to people in mental crisis. They'll arrive in a regular vehicle in regular clothes.
We're going in people's homes. We're not healthcare providers, we're police officers. And as you said, you know, sometimes we wear many hats, but in this case here, we really weren't offering people in crisis or their families the right solution. We've improved our response, we've improved our relationship with health, and as a result, we've improved our relationship with the community.
Much has changed in the years since Joe Boland was a rookie. He hopes this one will stick. Ariana Kelland, CBC News, St. John's.
Team Canada keeps on rocking at the World Championships in Las Vegas.
Before we get to the weather with Ryan, we're going to talk about a really cute, pretty bird in our neck of the woods. It seems puffins, those little seabirds, are even more special than we thought. An ornithologist at the University of Nottingham made this bright discovery by mistake.
During a slow day at the lab, he shone a UV light on a bird's bill, and it glowed like a firefly. While it's not the first time he's seen a fluorescent beak, he says no other bird shines as bright as the Atlantic puffin.
Now, he says it's still too soon to say what puffins use their bright beak for, but looks like It's back to the lab to do a little more research.
And before you wonder whether or not that's bird abuse, it's actually a dead frozen puffin that he did this on.
Thanks for clarifying that, Peter.
He didn't actually make a puffin like wear sunglasses while he shone UV light at it.
Don't worry, everybody. The bird is dead. Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of freezing to death, let's talk about Lab West temperatures.
Any possible way to segue that to the weather? Congratulations, Peter. Segue of the night there. Look at this picture from Happy Valley Goose Bay earlier today. Quite stormy for some today as Peggy Best in Happy Valley Goose Bay shared this picture with me. Thank you very much, Peggy. Most of the warnings have come to an end, but we still have a blowing snow advisory in effect for Makovic, Hopedale, and Nain along that coast of Labrador. Conditions certainly unsettled through tonight as we have those winds still sustained in that 40-kilometer-per-hour range, some gusts in the 60, 70, even 80-kilometer-per-hour range. Winds are actually going to be increasing across the island as we roll through tomorrow as this low moves to the north and we get some very gusty west-southwesterlies funneling in those cooler temperatures. Onshore flurries are going to be the name of the game for the west coast of the island, and we'll see some of those wander into central eastern parts of Newfoundland as well. This is where we'll start tomorrow. -2 in St. John's, -7 to 8 for central towards western Newfoundland, and starting in the -teens and 20s for central and western Labrador as well. Note those winds gusting 50 to 60 kilometers per hour across the island for early tomorrow. And then as we move into the day, we're going to be continuing. We'll see those temperatures come up a little bit, but highs once again are going to be in that -2 to -6 range for tomorrow. So that's pretty chilly. When you factor in the wind chill, it's going to be feeling well into the minus double digits. I'm talking about westerlies gusting 60 to 70 kilometers per hour for eastern Newfoundland. Certainly some sunshine, but some flurries into the mix, especially for the south coast. And as I mentioned, the west coast, where winds will gust from the west-southwest towards 60 and 70 kilometers per hour here as well. Into Labrador, still cloud cover dominating and flurries from the north coast back into western parts of Labrador. Chances some sun, Happy Valley Goose Bay, but more so for the southeast for tomorrow. Those winds will start to taper off as we roll into the Saturday time period. If you have some travel plans, watch the timeline here. As we move through Saturday morning, our next system will move in with some snow. By the time we get to the early afternoon hours of Saturday, I'm expecting we'll already start to see some mixing for the southern Avalon, the Burin Peninsulas into the afternoon. It does look like a transition to rain for the Avalon, Clarenville, Bonavista, the Burin. Gander and west, even Terra Nova, a little on the uncertain side as to exactly where that rain snow line will set up. I think we'll see some accumulating snow here and certainly some accumulation before that transition to rain in eastern parts of Newfoundland as well. Temperatures topping out around the 4 or 5 degree mark, and you can see in central parts of Newfoundland near the freezing mark, pretty quiet through Labrador. Now that is just the first system. Sunday brings yet another round of messy weather. I think we're once again mixing in the east with snow and rain. Here's how it tracks out. Saturday afternoon, low number 1 departs. Bit of a mix back to snow for Saturday night in the east. And then here comes low number 2, Sunday morning, snow, and then eventually back to rain for the Avalon, the Burin Peninsulas. And this could be another accumulating snow event, and let's say the possibility at least of some significant snowfall through central and western Newfoundland with this round for Sunday, later Sunday, in through Sunday night, and into Monday before that system departs. So very active pattern through this weekend. We'll talk more about this, and of course right into next week with your long range coming up.
Well, Team Canada keeps rocking at the Men's World Curling Championships in Las Vegas.
As of this morning, Brad Gouju's rink was in a 3-way tie for first place. They now have a record of 7-1 after picking up 2 wins yesterday, and here are some of the highlights.
Brad Gouju and his Canadian rink continuing to make their way through the round robin at the World Curling Championships. The Canadians started the day at 5-1 as they faced Norway. Canada leading 3-1 in the 5th end. Gouju with the hammer, and he makes a pretty shot to remove the red rock. That scores 2. Canada goes up 5-1. 7th end, Gouju puts the nail in the coffin. He removes the red stone and keeps his shooter to score 3. Canada defeats Norway 8-2. Next match, the Canadians took on the Netherlands. With Canada down 1 in the 2nd end, Gouju has an opportunity to score 2, and he does just that, taking at the red stone for a 2-1 lead. Next end, it's Canada sitting 1 and the Netherlands have the hammer. Jaap van Dorp comes up short, and the Canadians get the steal to go up by 2. Fifth and Gushue takes control of the match. He scores 3 to take a 6-2 lead and goes on to win by a final score of 8-5. Canada improves to 7-1 and is in a 3-way tie for first place with Scotland and Sweden.
Well, right now Canada is on the ice taking on China. Later this evening they play Team Sweden.
And that'll be one to watch. Tomorrow the defending world champions are back at it with 2 more games, and then the playoffs start on Saturday.
Closing the wage gap between men and women, there's still a long way to go.
Today is being marked as Pay Equity Day by the St. John Status of Women Council, and the statistics are sobering. Newfoundland and Labrador has the highest gender wage gap in the country. For every dollar a man makes in this province, a woman makes 66 cents. The disparity is nothing new, but despite calls for a change, here we are in 2018 still trying to find a solution to narrow that wage gap. Joining me now to talk about this, Dwan Street, who is the projects coordinator at the FFAW. She also sits on the board at the St. John Status of Women Council. And also with me, Caitlin Urquhart. She's a lawyer who chairs the provincial branch of the Canadian Bar Association, and Caitlin is also a member of the association's Pay Equity Committee. Well, it is obvious that you are both very passionate about this pay equity issue from the roles that you do play. I want to start, though, with you, first of all, Caitlin. You're in a traditionally male-dominated career, although more women are going down the law path. What kinds of situations do you see where a woman is being paid less than a man in your field of work?
So I think one of the important things to consider is whether or not people know what they're making and are aware of the pay disparity. I've heard of women who've become partners in the compensation committee, and only then at that point realized that the way in which the compensation packages and bonuses of their associates were very different for women and men. I've heard of colleagues who have gone on a mat leave, and because they weren't able to meet their targets were 2 years behind in terms of compensation behind and their male partners who didn't take parental leave. So there's certainly the pay gap is there, and it's hard to really pin down within the legal profession.
And so people are not talking about it in your profession. Are they not allowed to, or is it rude to talk about what pay you get?
So I've heard of colleagues who have been required or been told that if they disclose their compensation, they would be terminated. So certainly there are some organizations that have very strict confidentiality around compensation, but I think also we socialize women and girls to not to be too ambitious and not to seek power. And money is power. So talking about money often makes women more uncomfortable than it does men. And so we also have the challenge of having those discussions. If our male colleagues aren't going to put themselves on the line and disclose their compensation to us, then we may not initiate that conversation. So I think it's up to men as well to get involved and to have that transparency.
Well, Juan, you also work in a male-dominated environment. What do you see in fishery-related work?
I happen to be very fortunate to be staff in a unionized position, and pay equity and removing barriers to women in the fishing industry is something that is very important to us at FFAW. And we've made sure to make room for women coming forward. Like on our inshore councils, for instance, we want to make sure women feel empowered to step into these positions, and we've created affirmative action positions to make sure that happens. When it comes to what I've seen personally, a lot of what Caitlin talked about is relevant when it comes to women being hesitant to step up in leadership positions and put ourselves forward. You know, you don't want to be seen as that bossy woman. And one thing that I have noticed is that the face of the labor movement has changed. And, you know, if we look at even our own union over the past, say, 20 years, the face has changed. Most of our recent hires have been very highly qualified, strong women. And I do think it has made a difference as well for women within the fishing industry who want to talk to somebody who might be struggling with stepping forward to either buy a fishing enterprise or get on the deck of a boat. And when we go out into communities and they're seeing our faces, you know, it does kind of help make it a little bit more relatable.
So there are role models that are becoming obvious to these women.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you about, though, you're both in fairly well-paid industries. What about those who are in the minimum wage sector? There's no unions. What about that?
Absolutely. We have, with our parent union, Unifor, I do sit on the Atlantic Regional Council of Unifor as well, and we have been going into positions of precarious work and unionizing, because unionizing is so important when it comes to helping close the wage gap. Of course, through collective bargaining, this is something we strive for. We want to make sure everybody's on an equal footing, and we need to be looking at reasons why women are overrepresented in precarious work.
Let's bring Caitlin back in. I see you nodding your head in agreement. Your thoughts on this?
So I think that certainly unionization is one great way, and again, it creates that transparency.
But that's not going to happen with all of these work environments, is it?
Well, certainly one of the big factors that we could look at would be daycare, right? When we talk about women who often are in precarious work or underpaid or unpaid, it's because they can't afford adequate childcare, or their childcare schedule wouldn't work with their shift schedule, and those types of challenges that women are facing when they are the primary caregivers. So we have to look at it in a more holistic way. It can't just be, there's no one silver bullet. If there were, we would have it done by now.
Just 1 year ago, a private member's bill was entered in the House requesting an all-party committee to look at this issue of pay equity. It was unanimously passed. Nothing has happened that we can see in a year. I mean, how disappointing or frustrating is this? And is that the solution, legislation?
It is very frustrating, and even going back to something as simple as access to affordable childcare. Budgets come and go, and we see no mention. Our government, they speak a very big game, and it's unfortunate when we do see resolutions passed, unanimous support, like we saw with Cathy Bennett a few short weeks ago. looking for anti-harassment legislation. Will we see that? How do we have confidence that our government is going to step forward? Where is our minister responsible for the status of women on this? We have not seen any action, and what we want to see is people calling, emailing, rallying their MHAs to say, we are not going to stand for this. Women in this province deserve better. While we're not going to see the gender wage gap closed overnight by legislation, it is such an important step, and it is a very important one for this government
and
to
a final comment to you, Caitlin.
So, I mean, absolutely echo the St. John Status of Women Council call for an all-party committee, because they can do more than just recommend legislation. They can also look at it in a holistic manner and recommend other changes that may be able to help close this gap.
Caitlin Urquhart and Dwan Street, thank you so much. A very complex issue, but it's good to raise it here today.
Absolutely.
Well, hard to believe that we woke up to snow and ice this morning. It actually turned out to be a double-digit day with some sunshine, certainly a little on the breezy side, but overall not a bad finish to this April day. A little bit of everything over the next few days as well. Some really colder temperatures, but yes, more snow on the menu for St. John's, eastern Newfoundland, and especially central and west and Labrador. The details after the break.
Okay, it is time to meet our young athlete of the day. This is 13-year-old Damien Brown. Damien is from Mount Pearl and is a forward with the Mount Pearl Blades.
He's been an avid hockey player since he was 6, and he's a big fan of the Canadians. In the off-season, he plays baseball and basketball.
Not sure about the team choice, but congratulations nonetheless, Damien. Sounds like you're one busy guy, and congratulations on being chosen as today's young athlete of the day.
Hockey editorializing going on.
I got to cheer for those Leafs.
Since Jonathan isn't here to keep you in check, you know, now you can make these comments without having to worry.
Although you guys keep me in check pretty well too. So in terms of the weekend, you know, a lot of people traveling, either coming back after the spring break or hockey tournaments on the go around this time of year. So there's a couple of systems to keep an eye on. Both are going to bring some snow into the mix, but also likely some mixing with rain and some ice here in the east. So all kinds of weather to dive into. Now, as we look at the current temperatures, note the circulation here is we're at 6 in St. John's and Gander. Sable Island's at 4, but Halifax is already at 0. Corner Brook's at -1. Labrador City is at -16. And that really is that colder air wrapping in on the other side of this system and sweeping in across Atlantic Canada. That will set the stage for our next systems moving into that colder air and hence the snow that's going to be on the menu. So our first low departing as we speak, and the second and third lows we're keeping an eye on here, and the third just now moving on to the coast of BC. So these two lows are going to be our weather players for the weekend. Before we get there, Friday, as we end the week, a cool, breezy, but bright day for most of us. Certainly some onshore flurries for the west coast. Those will dart into central and eastern Newfoundland. Certainly the risk of that isolated, but certainly those chances are there. Mainly cloudy skies through western Labrador with some flurries on the go there. Picking things up with your future tracker timeline Friday evening. And so it looks like as we roll into the early stages of Saturday morning, that snow just pushing onto the southwest coast. It spreads up from southwest to northeast through Saturday morning. By the time we get to around early afternoon, transitioning over to some ice and rain by the looks of things for St. John's, the Avalon, the Burin Peninsula, even Clarenville, Bonavista may see a transition over to some rain here. Perhaps as far west as Gander, though, those fine details will have to be nailed down. The track will be key here. By the time we get to Saturday evening, that snow will be continuing on the go for Central with that mixing and that rain now underway for St. John's and the Burin Peninsulas, though we may see a transition back to some snow on Saturday night and then back over to some ice and rain through Sunday as temperatures rise once again to 3 and 5 degrees. More snow and possibly quite a bit of it, enough to certainly shovel, maybe even break out the snowblower for central parts of Newfoundland and possibly the west as well. Those details are still to come as well. So there goes our first low. Saturday night, there's that potential mix back to snow for St. John's and the Avalon, and then back to rain as that warmer air. And based on the latest track, this system will track over eastern or central Newfoundland, setting up more snow, as I said, for central and west with that mix to rain for the Avalon. Then, yes, back to snow into Monday. And so a bit of a roller coaster ride here. Also a heads up, if you have any travel for mid next week, it looks like the next one will move in for Wednesday and into Thursday as a very, very active pattern continues here across Newfoundland and Labrador. So there's your next 7. Again, temperatures been doing a bit of a yo-yo, especially in eastern Newfoundland, riding that freezing mark, which increases your snow chances for central and west based on those storm tracks. And for Labrador, really after tomorrow winds down, chance of some flurries in the mix for Sunday, but overall a pretty quiet 7-day stretch for you folks in the Big Land. That's your forecast to now. Debbie?
And now to Alberta. Officials continue to investigate an illness at a First Nation home west of Calgary. An infant is dead and 14 other people are in hospital. Today, the victims are listed in stable condition, but the cause remains a mystery. Paramedics were called yesterday just before noon to help 2 young children. They found the infant already dead and 14 others sick. Some have been ill for days. All belong to the same extended family. Officials say they showed flu-like respiratory symptoms, and that poisoning has been ruled out.
A minor hockey player in Saskatchewan is facing off against the league over a tribute to a teammate who took his own life. It's a memorial crest for other players to wear on their jerseys. But the league says that breaks the rules. Olivia Stevanovic has the story.
Connor Snyder says he considered Ash LaSalle his brother. The friend's favorite activity? Hockey. They played together until a 15-year-old LaSalle took his own life. Snyder created a crest in memory of Ash with 2 hockey sticks forming a heart.
When I'm on the ice, it makes me feel like he's with me and it helps me get through my games.
But Snyder won't be able to wear it on his hockey jersey. The Battleford's Minor Hockey Association is encouraging players to remove the memorial patches, saying approval should have been given before they were sewn on.
It makes me sad because it's a symbol of Ash on her jersey.
Ash LaSalle's dad is encouraging the Hockey Association to reverse its decision. He says the badges don't just honor his son, they also raise awareness about teen suicide.
I don't want one of my son's friends
or to have his parents come to me and say, you know what, we lost our child. We need to stop the stigmatism, we need to talk about it, and we need to save lives.
An online petition has gained over 1,500 signatures. The Hockey Association hasn't responded to CBC's request for an interview. Ash LaSalle's dad is calling on members of the Hockey League Association to vote out the board at its next meeting if an about-face doesn't come soon. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Regina.
Well, our viewer picture of the day. This is an interesting one because I'm sure at first glance you might immediately think Labrador. But in fact, this picture comes from Newfoundland.
They have a lot of snow out northern
West
peninsula
Coast, yeah,
way. I was talking with somebody who was out snowmobiling there just the other day. So, northern peninsula?
No, further east than that, so this will be a bit of a surprise when we reveal after the break.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Well, you know you're having a bad day when. Just check out this crash caught on camera on a highway north of Montreal.
Ooh, that's a semi loaded with canola seed and its trailer in the upright and locked position slamming into a pedestrian overpass there. Fortunately, no one was injured, but it did close the highway and create major delays during the evening rush hour, and the repair work is still continuing.
They're continuing to investigate why that was in that position.
Yeah, it should not be like that.
No. So we've all heard the saying, April showers bring May flowers. Well, so far, April is bringing a lot more than just rain to some parts of the country.
Yeah, this is a powerful windstorm that swept through parts of Ontario and Quebec yesterday. In Montreal, winds were gusting up to 90 kilometers an hour, which I guess is strong for them. It was enough to knock over large signs, and this was the scene at a local parking lot. Tens of thousands of customers were also without power.
And it was a similar scene in nearby Ottawa.
Yeah, emergency crews were kept busy throughout the night responding to calls. Trees and power lines were knocked down. One home's entire roof was torn off.
Same storm that has been rolling through our neck of the woods today. So
same sort of winds though for us?
No.
Wreck House?
Yeah, I mean Wreck House had gusts of 124 about 24 hours ago. So certainly some strong winds, but yes, we better get to the viewer picture as we are quickly running out of time. And Debbie, you'd guessed the Northern Peninsula. You weren't far off. The Bayvert Peninsula. And this is in the Barrens, just near the Rattling Brook area, the Bayvert Peninsula, and lots of snow on the go there.
It's a great time of the year. You get the nice warm temperatures, a little bit of sunshine. You can go out and actually enjoy the snow.
Absolutely.
It's a lovely shot. Thanks very much, Pansy. And I think they have skiing out that way too, I've heard.
Yes.
Anyway, that's our show for tonight. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.